Hey traders, this is Mike. I wanted to do a quick recap for you on how we took our SPY trades during the Fed announcement. We had a pretty good day. We traded live on the afternoon show. You can see it right on this stream here. Let's go to the charts and take a look at exactly, just do a play-by-play recap in here to see how we traded this and how we did so well. We took 3 trades. We have another video in here, how to trade news breakouts and trade fundamental or clearing events. The SPY, the ES is the futures contract on the SPY. That's what we were trading. We were trading futures. So what you got to do, you can see right in here, this is the 2 o'clock hour here as the market got the news of the Fed announcement. And like we said in the trading news video, what you need to do is you need to allow the security or the market that you're trading to establish a range, because you got to understand what's going on during a news event where we're getting information. There's 2 things that are going on. One is the market is testing the limits. They're going to test, we talk about if you're trading during a Fed event, well, there's going to be 3 moves. There's going to be the first move, the initial move out. There's going to be the reversal and then the final move, right? Well, there's a reason for that, okay? Because the market is always testing. It's going to test the upper limits to see if buyers, how far they can go to find buyers, if buyers are seeing this event as something to buy. And then it's going to test and reverse to the downside and see, okay, well, how strong are the sellers? So you got to look at it as like a wrestling match, a tug of war. You got buyers to the upside and you got the sellers to the bottom of the chart. And, one of those is going to win. And so it's a discounted pricing mechanism. The market's always trying to find value and find out, okay, who's going to gain control of after this event. Now, the second thing you got to look at with a news event, is it a clearing event? And a clearing event is basically an event where, okay, people were looking to buy this market because it's oversold, but because there's this big news item, we don't want to get a position in the market prior to that news event. So what happens is once that event comes out, it cleared out of the way. The risk is cleared out of the way. It's now a known event instead of the unknown. And so now, because it's cleared out, it's you have buyers where sellers will come in, actually, take their position in the market according to the way they wanted to prior to the news event. But now they don't have to worry about that, any unknown risk coming from that news event. So that's why we call it a clearing event. So with what we had with the Fed meeting, it's both a clearing event and a fundamentally changing event. And that's important. So this is how we traded it. So once they came out, Fed announced 75 basis points, just what we thought, just what the market thought. And so we kind of talked about it. It seemed like the market was oversold. It seemed like buyers were looking to buy into this market, but you really want price action to confirm that with you. And so I kind of jumped the gun in here. I did get into this trade a little bit earlier than I normally would. I thought that, it really, the selling, we initially popped up here. We kind of pierced through this 3,800 level in the ES, and 3,800 to 3,795 is really a key area of support and resistance for the ES. So it's great when you have the market on its initial reaction kind of run into some resistance in there. They did pierce it and wicked it up. And then they immediately took it back down to kind of check the bottom area of the value. And you can kind of see there was a closing print here of a couple of days ago that was coming into play. And this is another area of value. So as it kind of printed up here, and really it seemed like the sellers were not that in control as you normally would see on a Fed event. And so I kind of jumped the gun. I did buy some futures contracts in here. But the key play was waiting for it to test down to value. And so once it did, so you can see the wick up here to the top, the wick to the bottom, that right there establishes our initial trading zone. So anything below this, bears are in control. Anything above this, the bulls are in control. And so once we established that and we saw this wick to the bottom, we added to the position that we took into here. And so the majority of our shares were added down in this gray zone here. And so once we did that, here's where we typically go to the Fibonacci's, and it worked to the T. And this is all live. We did this live on the show, the 1 o'clock show, and we traded through the event. Oh, sorry about that. And don't you love how that works? Righty. So if you look here, I said it live on the show. I said, okay, we bought in here, established our long position. We bought the futures, and we were looking to offload the first level of contracts at the 50% level. And the 50% level right here was great. We had a nice little retracement. And you also had the 200 as kind of a lid in here. You had some other value zones on the ES that was also working into our favor. So we took this trade rate from the bottom of this value up into this area here, which is the 50% area, the 200. We also had this level of resistance, and we took our profits, and it was a great trade. I mean, this is 30 points on the ES at $50 a trade. That's a $1,500 trade. It was an easy trade. It was a shorter trade, with our stop loss being a break of this low in here. So it gave us a great risk to reward. We were holding and got out more towards in here for the rest of those shares, as it looked like. You got to remember too, we were kind of jumping the gun on this trade because they still had not started the news conference, and typically the news conference is something that's a more of a mover than what you get out of the Fed announcement. So that was a great trade. And then we came back down. We were out of that trade. We came back down, and we actually broke this level. Now, we didn't go short in here because, again, we were leaning to the upside, and we were looking to see if this was going to be a wick test. And the wick test is exactly what we got. They didn't stay down here long, brought us right back up into this value zone. And that's when we announced we were going in for a long again out of here. And this is when we got our explosive move. And we also, the reason we were more comfortable with this move here was, again, because of the fact that they had already started the press conference. Here it was pre-press conference. We're still kind of filtering around into price discovery mode. So we took the trade right at once it, not down here, but once it reclaimed this area with force and took it up here. And this was a great move. Okay. We took half off at the 50% level again, and the other half we let ride. And this is a 60 to 70 point trade. This is like a $3,000 to $4,000 trade, just one contract in the futures market. So we didn't get the top. You never will get the top, but we did get ticked out right around here. And then once that happened, what we did, we again now had we had a new short zone. Okay, we now had a new upper zone and a new bottom zone. And so what we did, we then proceeded to draw our Fibonacci's again. And again, what we're looking for is that 50% retracement level. Well, it's, well, indeed, it's amazing how this works. At 50%, same area, same 200. This area was resistance before. Now it's support. So we felt comfortable taking another trade up in here. We were looking for just a wick up to, really get the wick test up into here. So that was another trade. And then finally, the last trade was waiting for this little trend line as we were making higher lows to break, and we got this going into the close. So that's really the 3 to 4 trades we took. You could have gotten yourself 120 points, just, not getting top to bottom, but getting the meat of the move. It's a $6,000 to $8,000 day just trading one contract in the E-mini. So I hope this helps. It kind of gives you an idea what we look at. It was one of the easier trading days for us. And again, it's all time printed. We did it live on the show. And I know JT, I think Mark and Brian took some good trades into this. And again, we don't recommend that you ever trade with us or follow our trades. What we recommend is, and the reason we do this is for you to get and understand how to trade and find these levels yourself. Okay, I hope you guys made some good money, and I hope this helped you, and we'll see you later.